Hey everybody, good morning. It's Pete. Thank you so much for joining me today on today's episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It's Tuesday morning, January 12th, 2021, and this market is resilient. We're sitting there during the day taking some amazing opportunities, and every time we sell off, we seem to be coming back, which is kind of I'm not going to say a warning, but we are showing some signs of the market cracking just a little bit. And the way that we're seeing that right now is we're starting to see intraday volatility in the VIX that we haven't seen in a while. It's been kind of steady, almost nondescript, but we're starting to see it trade back and forth in a way that it's kind of woken up, I guess is a different way to say that. And that's usually when option premium starts to get priced a little bit higher. The price of the premium versus whether or not it's expensive is not the same thing. And we're starting to see it be a little bit more expensive right now. However, we're bouncing back again today. We looked like we were selling off a little bit yesterday afternoon, profit taking, however you want to word it. And the futures are actually trading positive again today. We had a really good question last night in our weekly coaching call about the size of shares traded, day trading versus swing trading. And I'm still trading aggressively on the day trading side, but I have to admit my swing trading share size has lowered a little bit. And the position sizing is where I'm building a position versus going in a little bit more aggressive. Today, we're going to stick to where the money has been. There's another big conversation that we had in our coaching call last night, which is about stock selection and the difference between trading versus investing. And investing, you might want to try and find the diamonds in the rough, but that's not what you want to do when you're trading. When you're actively trading, you want to really get in there and find stocks that already have existing smart money, existing order flow, stocks that are already active. We call it, they have attention, where you can start to see obvious order flow on the daily candlesticks specifically. So with that in mind, we are going to stick with where the money is, where all the attention is, where everybody's talking about right now, which is the electric vehicle market. There's no reason to go somewhere else. If that's where, if Wall Street has attention on that right now, seize it, capitalize on it, take advantage of it. Don't go off and start trading stuff that you hope becomes active. These stocks are active right now. There's plenty of volatility. There's plenty of stocks to choose from Tesla all the way up in the 800s, all the way down to stocks that we're going to take a look at right now are in the 20s. By the way, we're getting a lot of questions about the method that we talk about. I'm actually going to post a video somewhere on the screen. You'll see it in the top, the New York method. Take some time to watch that. And it's roughly an hour, maybe a little bit more than that, but it goes from A to Z of everything that I'm talking about here, and how I find the good ideas, where order flow comes from, how order flow works, how to really work your edge without a lot less stress than I think a lot of people put into it. So with that being said, we're going to head over to the charts. We're going to take a look at the futures first, then we're going to jump into some, I think we have roughly about a dozen stocks that we want to take a look at today. So obviously, we took a nosedive yesterday afternoon, but here we are again. Futures are actually trading, E-mini S&P futures are trading up around 10, showing some really incredible resilience. What we're going to start talking about is a stock that we probably have not had on our radar in a long time. We'll take a look at the weekly chart, which is General Motors. You can see it's actually getting up to that $46 level where it might be a little bit frothy, or it's where sellers did something significant going all the way back to 2017, but a much different circumstance now than back in 2017. And essentially what it's all about here, most important part here from an entrepreneurial perspective, from a business perspective, future development of EVs will cost less, drop by nearly a third from what it spends now making the their Chevy Bolt and their pickup truck. That's actually really big news from a long-term perspective. When you can see a bigger demand for a product that you sell, or you're already in an industry, and you know that your research and development has gotten to the point where you're matching that demand with lower cost on your side, that's a recipe for really good earnings per share. And I know we don't normally talk about investing as much as trading, but this is now getting attention. Sticking along those same lines is XPEV. Xpeng is the name of the stock. Got a $2 billion credit from state-owned bank. Now, a lot of people are interpreting that as awesome news. It's a line of credit. It's not sales. Just think about your own line of credit, your own and yourself. Think about if you go out and you get a credit card, that doesn't mean that you're earning more money. So just keep this in mind and how you ultimately interpret that. And again, sticking with NEO, let's take a look at the chart of XPEV. It's actually trading up a little bit this morning, but again, I just can't emphasize enough. A line of credit is good. It's helpful. Every business can probably use it, but the order flow is still not confirming the short-term price action. As a matter of fact, yesterday it actually traded into well-offered price action, and that's not what we want to see. We actually have a buy stop in XPEV at 48. So we might hit that today, we might not, but I'm not doing anything from a little bit longer term perspective until we get through that level. NEO saw some profit taking yesterday as it was selling into NEO Day, which was over the weekend. I still love this stock long. We actually talked about last week that I expected to be in the 70s before the end of the month. But what about General Motors? As I said, the circumstances are different now from where they reached this $46 level, $45, $46 level back in 2017. I have an alert, not a buy stop, set for $46. I want to see what happens when it gets up there, and then I'll reevaluate. But it's absolutely starting to make its way into my little bit longer term list. Ride is a stock that was called out yesterday by William Moore. Just an amazing, amazing day trade. Like I said, if you're not day trading some of these stocks, you're missing out. As I said, there are stocks in the 800s and stocks in the 20s. This stock was just phenomenal yesterday. At one point, it was up, I think, 25%. And William kept pounding the table on this in our community yesterday. And these are the kind of opportunities as a day trader that are relatively, I want to word this properly and in a compliant way, relatively lower risk for the volatility that the stock normally trades. But when it does move, it moves. Similar, but on the opposite end of volatility is LMND, which was called out by Chris Albert in our community yesterday. Just an amazing, amazing play from an active day trading perspective. And it was just really fun conversations about moving up trailing stop losses on those ideas. So if you need some day trading opportunities, make sure that you click the link below and learn more about the boot camp. We're finding some really amazing winners just on a daily basis. So GM and Ride so far, DD actually, Triple D, actually traded double its normal volume again, traded into what we call a pause, a consolidation candle, whatever terminology you want to use. I am not swing trading this stock yet. I want to see the volatility decrease a little bit. It's still a little bit too wide for me to manage risk on a newer swing trade. I'd actually like for it to pull back for a couple of days before I initiate a new swing trade. But if it matches our intraday criteria, we are still looking to day trade the stock. FUV is another one that finally punched through. We were watching 16. You can see it got up there and failed, got up there and failed, and closed above that level again. And what's more important is it closed well bid, which is higher highs, higher lows, and to close in the top percentage of the trading range. So we're going to look today to start initiating a smaller position. Now you can see that from a day in and day out basis, the market doesn't have attention on this every single day. You're starting to see what we call too many melted candles. So because of those melted candles, this is a trade in a lower price stock where I'd be more inclined to be building a position as it moves in my favor, not tying up too much capital because of the propensity of the stock to go sideways and not have wider ranges. But I do like the breakout above 16. Sticking with get to where the money is, get to where there's already smart money order flow, get to where price action is trading well, for lack of a better way of putting that, GRWG and CGC. Again, some pretty clean bullish moves getting followed through. It looks like we're going to get some more follow through this morning. PENN, again, go where the money already is. Well bid, coming out of an optimal entry, clearing new levels, getting into new all-time highs. As long as it's over 100, that would be the real number. However, it's $96, $97 was actually the breakout. Now, yesterday was a really big trading risk, so you're not going to risk $10 to trade PENN. It doesn't normally have that. The odds of making 30 to risk 10 are not very good. So you're going to have to really lower your time frame there to look for a new entry on a swing trade. However, if it's a day trading situation for you, absolutely. Now, one thing about this stock, we talk often about whether or not you should be trading early. This stock tends to open up, sell off, and then rally. So be aware of that. CrowdStrike, another one, obviously breaking out again. 220 was the actual level, but it finally punched through again. It didn't go well bid. It actually had a full engulfing candlestick yesterday. We're looking for follow through there. Semiconductors, again, sticking with understanding your industry group rotation. This stock needs to stay above 96 AMD, and the other one is AMAT, which was a really good call by Evan last week in the community. Again, the community is just doing an amazing job of creating game plans every single day. So that's the list that I have today. What's super interesting right now is I'm getting a lot of private messages and emails in reference to trading some of the large cap stocks, the large tech stocks as well. We haven't really called out Apple. We really haven't called out Facebook or Microsoft. Microsoft has that very clear level of 224 that we need to trade through. Look, if they're not in play, don't force it. I just can't stress this enough. You need to go where there's already order flow, where there's already volume. Those are the quote unquote, and take this in context, those are the easier trades to put on because they're already moving in your favor. And something that was interesting last night that we discussed too, about how soon to get involved into some of your ideas. And if you're buying a strong stock that's pulling back versus a strong stock that is already going in your direction, your conviction level in building those two positions has to be different, and whether or not it's moving in your favor or not. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but it's not. A lot of people like to buy on the way down when it's moving against the direction that they anticipated going. You can get some amazing entries when what we call buying in the hole, but you really need to understand how to work those orders versus a little bit more conviction where it's already pushing, pausing, and moving in your direction in the first place. On that particular scenario, because it's already moving in your favor, those are the ones that you say, okay, I'm just hopping on board versus I'm waiting for it to stop. Big difference in those two. If you have any questions about the stocks that we talked about here today, absolutely leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you find these videos helpful, or if you're actually doing well with some of these videos, please subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone.